Welcome to Quick Clips with Dr. Kilmer. Today we are continuing our conversation about situational tolerance. It's not necessary to understand this episode, but if you haven't already, you may find our past episode, Why Teaching My Kids to Drink is Not a Thing, useful. Tell us more, Dr. Kilmer, about situational tolerance and holding one's liquor.
The important thing to realize is that this is not unique to college students, though. I mean, look at what happened during the pandemic. If adults that drank said, for a whole year, I made my own drinks, someone measuring a drink, putting it into a shaker, pouring that drink, those are all self-administration cues. We heard so many people say, the first time I went to a bar or a restaurant in a year, I ordered the same drink I'd had for the past year at home, and it hit me way, 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 way harder. I don't think the drink was stronger. What was happening? That's what was happening. Those self-administration cues weren't there. A road trip, brand new environment. Anything that changes, a shift in cues, can make a difference. And there's even research out of Canada that shows that taste and smell can be a cue. If someone has a favorite drink, that taste and smell of that favorite drink signals to the body, we're about to have our favorite drink. If they have a drink they've never had before, the body won't make that same conditioned compensatory response. A novel drink could actually hit someone harder than a drink they're more familiar with.
It's fascinating. I love this research. It just satisfies my scientific side of my brain. But then from a parenting standpoint, there is I think it's legitimate belief or want to believe that I can prepare my kid for life. And I think those are justified thoughts by parents. And I think what this says is there's just some areas where our encouraging behavior is not going to prepare them.
I learned that some parents were doing this. I was speaking at a parent event in a community here in Washington, and a parent raised their hand and said, my kid's going to school in a month. This was the parent's words. I don't want my kid to be, in quotes, a lightweight. And so I'm saying, we're going to have you, if you're going to drink at parties, do it here. And their hope almost was, I want the kid to be able to, in quotes, hold their liquor.
Yeah.
And I was struck because I'm like, I don't want this person to feel bad as I present this research, but I need them to understand why it could have completely the opposite effect. Here's the other thing that's so striking about tolerance. When we look at the concept of an alcohol use disorder, I think what people are often very surprised to find out is one of the criteria for a substance use disorder is tolerance. And so when someone says, I can hold my liquor, from a risk standpoint, of an addiction standpoint, there's one criteria down, one to go. Because it takes meeting two criteria to have a substance use disorder. So even though some people might view tolerance as kind of a statusy thing, I can hold my liquor, that person's, in quotes, a lightweight. From a risk standpoint, from a health standpoint, it can be not so good.
Right. The lightweight's more likely to have some internal mechanisms that keep them from over drinking.
Absolutely. We're not a fan of labeling people in that way. And I put that in quotes as the term that parent had used. But tolerance, you're not getting those cues that say, hey, maybe slow down, maybe call it a night. And a person's friends aren't getting the cues that, heads up, our buddy might need to call it a night. So someone without tolerance gets those cues that say, I need to slow down. Someone without tolerance may not be getting that. So, you said it really well. It could be well intended. It could have not the intended outcome, unfortunately.
Right. Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Kilmer.
Thank you.